say I'm the happiest girl in the whole USA.
Hi, this is Mike Peace from Cashbox Magazine, and today we're going to be talking to the happiest girl in the whole USA, Donna Fargo, who now has a brand new record out called We Can Do Better in America. Let's talk to Donna right now.
Shine on me, sunshine.
Hello.
Hey, Donna Fargo.
Hey.
How you doing?
You, Mike?
Okay. How's everything going there?
Great.
Excellent.
Just great. How about you?
We're doing good. Finally getting some warmer weather. It's still cold here today, but yesterday we got up into the 70s, so that's kind of
good.
nice. Yeah.
It's I haven't been out today, but it looks kind of droopy out.
Is it?
We're about to get a little rain or something, but I don't think it'll get serious.
That's good.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you for all you're doing for me, Mike.
no problem.
I appreciate all these nice disc jockeys that are, playing this record. And
Yeah, I think you're going to really hit a lot of Americans at home with your CD, the single called We Can Do Better in America. I was listening to it, and you're talking about the bigwig CEOs sending all their work over to other countries, and Americans should come first in America.
I think everybody's feeling that now, too.
Yeah, I think it's really going to, make an impression on a lot of people. So.
Well, and we can't get apathetic. We think, I hear people say all the time, there's nothing we can do. But, we don't know what we can do if we don't speak up and kind of let them know how we feel.
Yeah.
I've got the addresses and names of all these oil companies. I looked at it, and I don't have their email addresses yet. I think that they just kind of left that stuff out. But I'm going to try to find the email addresses, too, and just write them all letters and talk to them about that it's not fair.
No.
This is Americans kind of cheating other Americans, and I just don't think that ought to be in our country. But if we keep quiet about it and don't tell them, it's kind of like in a family. If you have drinking problems or something, you almost need an intervention sometimes, or you need to sit down and talk about it. Or if you have communication problems, you've got to talk about it to try to get something done, and that's recognizing reality. It's not negative. It's just recognizing reality so that you can get positive.
Absolutely.
And get a positive thing going. And, we don't know what we can do. I mean, if they think we're just going to sit around and take it, and roll over and play dead, and it's kind of like the way you approach having a disease or health problems or whatever. You've just got to face the facts and say enough is enough, and I'm going to deal with this, and, whatever. It's sort of just the theme of that song, We Can Do Better.
Yeah.
Because we've let ourselves go, I think. And I'm going to write them letters. I can't wait till after Fanfare. Fanfare's next week, so I've got, a lot of work to do before then and stuff. But, boy, after that, I'm going to get serious about writing these letters. I'm going to write the president, the vice president. They probably won't ever read it, but you never know.
It's certainly, one person can really get the ball rolling.
Well, if enough of us would do it, and just bog them down with quantity. Just saying, we just can't stand these gas prices. That's the first thing I'm going to hit. I'm going to work on one thing at a time. First, it's going to be gas prices. Then I'll just take them one thing at a time.
That's it. The prices of everything have gone up so much, and it's just going to go up higher and higher as the gas prices go higher.
Absolutely. And, I read in Caracas, Venezuela, gas is 40 cents a gallon. And now, why can't we do something like that?
Hey, what's wrong with that?
I know it. What is wrong with this picture?
Yeah.
And a disc jockey I was just talking to said that something about in 1972, here it is, gas was 34.9 cents a gallon. It doesn't seem like that long ago, 1972.
No.
I don't expect it to be 34 cents anymore, but good Lord, $4?
Yeah, I remember the good old days of gas wars, and the gas station across the street would lower its price, and then you'd have to lower your price. And pretty soon it was down to 25 cents.
But see, they're not doing that much anymore.
No, not at all, really.
I don't know what happened to that either. But I read a thing also, Mike, that said that the little 7-Elevens don't make much money off of gas, that their biggest things now are like coffee and cappuccino and,
Yeah.
cheese crackers and stuff.
Yeah, all the
All the little
extra
stuff you
things.
buy at the 7-Elevens.
Right. You've had a very interesting career, and you just started out as a school teacher, I understand.
I did.
How exactly did the first song? I've been singing this song all day now. I can't think of the title of it.
Happiest Girl
Happiest Girl
in the whole
yeah,
USA.
yeah.
Well, I was teaching school in Southern California. I taught high school English, and I was head of the English department, and I loved doing that. I just had wonderful kids in my class. I taught 9th and 12th grade English, and I grew up in North Carolina. I'll back up a little. I grew up in North Carolina, and the summers when I was in college, the last 2 summers, I went to visit my brother who lived in California. He had a restaurant near USC, and I worked in his restaurant for him and went to USC in the summers and checked into their school systems, and I was just ready to explore the world, so I felt safe going to California and living with my brother, and I got my teaching job there. And I'd had 2 dreams, one to become a teacher and one to become a singer. And after I got my teaching job, I decided to try to become a singer. And I had met my husband, asked him to teach me to play the guitar, and he was in the music business, and so he taught me to play, bought me a guitar and taught me to play. And I said, will you teach me if I learn really fast so I won't be a burden or something? So he did, and was my first best song critic. He's a Virgo, so he's a very critical kind of guy.
Okay.
So, I just sort of taught myself, listened to the radio and loved music. Always loved songs. Mm-hmm. Elvis and Brenda Lee were my 2 inspirations, I think. They sort of planted the seed in my heart or something, or maybe it was in church, in a little Baptist church. Uh-huh. And so I started writing songs, and, well, when I wrote Happiest Girl, it was kind of like I was very balanced in life. I was happily married. I had a good job. Everything felt right for me in 72, and so I'd written Happiest Girl and Funny Face and a few others. Didn't have much experience, but that much, Mm-hmm. And so...
Was that maybe like the very first song you wrote? Or
no, but it was... Well, Funny Face was one of the first songs I wrote. I wrote 16 verses to it first. Wow. Okay. Before I could decide. Uh-huh. And then, just eliminated them all but the first 2 that I wrote with it. But I didn't have a lot of experience by then, but maybe I'd written, 25 songs, I'd say, I guess, by the time I wrote Happiest Girl. And started probably 100 others, that I didn't finish. Mm-hmm. But we came to Nashville and recorded 4 sides. One of them was Happiest Girl. And flew back to L.A. and was teaching, and Stan stayed here and pitched the song around, and Dot Records picked it up, and they gave me my first start. They allowed people to hear the Happiest Girl, and their promotion man he loved the song. Okay. And but I'd had a little bit of experience. I have to back up from that, and with a company, and this gentleman just died, I remember, and he had a company called Ramco Records out of Phoenix, Arizona. So he put out a song I'd written called Would You Believe a Lifetime? And it got to number 2 and 3 and on some of the regional charts. It was enough. I heard the song at KCKC in San Bernardino when I was teaching school in Covina, and because I could hear it on the radio and like at KBBQ in Burbank, it encouraged me, to think that I might have a chance, to sing my own songs and make records and stuff. So
what was that like the first time you heard your own song on the radio?
Oh, it was a kick. I just, it was just like, God, is this really true? Is that me? And I remember I took it to that guy at KC, and he said, he pulled it out of the trash, Happiest Girl. This was Happiest Girl. He pulled it out of the trash. He said, oh, is this a song? I just threw it away. I said, you can't do that. So I said, it's a hit. You listen to it. And so he listened to it, and he kind of felt a little funny after that.
Felt obliged kind of to play it, huh?
Yeah. Well, and I learned then, though, Mike, that, jocks will listen to about 4 bars or something, so you got to hit them in the front.
That's it.
Like even Happiest Girl, it started out, Shine on Me Sunshine. It just had a 3-note pickup, and it went right into that short chorus,
Mm-hmm.
Shine on me sunshine, walk with me world.
It's a skippity-doo-dah day. Now, where'd you come up with that line?
I don't know. It's just, just out of my little heart.
Everybody, it's a zippity-doo-dah thing. Zippity, but skippity seems like that really picks it up. It makes it sound like, wow, she's happy enough to be skipping along,
Yeah. So, I don't know. You create your own language or something when you start writing and trying to. It seems like sometimes when I'm trying to say thank you to somebody too, I think, God, I need a new language. I can't. I just don't know how to say this, and thank you seems so small sometimes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's really pretty amazing, the way things work and fall in place for you. And I guess it's the positive attitude that you've got that just makes things work.
Well, sometimes, I just love life, and I try to not let anything steal my joy. But it wasn't always like that. I had to kind of work at that,
Mm-hmm.
And because if we don't, I don't know, I just think that if you're not happy, you're cheating yourself.
Okay, yeah.
And that life is for living. I said in the chorus or the bridge to this song, life is for living. Why not peace instead of war? That's not just military peace, but peace, period. We need to live our lives, I think, in a spirit of cooperation with each other. And I've learned a lot of my thinking lessons through just writing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just good therapy. I can work through anger problems or hurt feelings and all kinds of things, but just writing something down, and I can just write it down the way I feel it and just tear it up, and then it won't hurt anybody else. And I'll get it out of my system. Or just use word to lift somebody up or to help somebody. I just think it's so important that we stay connected because it's a technological world now, and we're emailing so fast we're forgetting what people sound like, look like, and
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about emailing that sort of makes it more attractive or something, even more than a fax machine.
Well,
it seems like it's less effort, I guess.
It's so much quicker than addressing an envelope after you've written it all down and then putting it in the mail, and you got to wait. So
yeah,
I kind of like the fact that you can get a letter from me, seconds from after I wrote it.
Oh, I do too. I love that part about it.
But to know that I'm sitting here in my basement and you're sitting over there in your room or wherever you got your computer set up, and we never see each other, never see how the body language or face language. Right. So we lose some communication, I think, along the way.
Uh-huh. But it's there's such advantages to the internet and all. I love the information and all that you can just get so quickly.
Yeah,
it's just great.
It's not like an encyclopedia anymore.
No, I know it. I just gave my old set of encyclopedias to a school or something.
Yeah.
That they're just like a dinosaur now because everybody has the internet. And I love change, but it's got to be the kind of change that matters and is important and causes us to be progressive and be better off. Not worse off.
Yeah.
And I don't want us to lose. I don't know. I've just always believed in our country and family and love and, all those basic things like the golden rule. And I feel like, I guess what inspired this song is that some of those things are kind of going by the wayside. And it seems like we're just getting less and less connected somehow. That, everybody's just living their lives but we have a responsibility as an American, I think. I addressed that even in that song I wrote called U.S. of A. in the recitation part. And that was hard to write because I thought, what can we do as Americans for our country? Not what can they do for us, that kind of John F. Kennedy thing,
Mm-hmm.
But what can we do? But things were different back then in 76. We hadn't lost as much of our soul or something as we have now.
There was an innocence, and
Yeah.
it has come a long way, and not in a good way, I don't think.
No, some of the things have just, other countries just love old people, for example.
Mm-hmm.
They, in some country, I heard the other day, the family fights over who gets to take care of the mother and the father
Mm-hmm.
when they're old. Well, we write them off, man, if they get a certain age.
Yeah.
And I just don't like that, because I love to grow older, except that everything begins to wear out and fall out and pooch out. You just become wiser in a way, and you learn how to deal with things.
Yeah, the little things don't matter anymore, It's the big things that are real important. And
You can sort through things better than when you were like 16 or 18 and thought you knew everything.
Right.
But we need some more balance. Like, it's not just music business. It's a lot of the whole world, it's especially this country. We're such a youth-oriented and beauty-oriented. Beauty's only skin deep kind of beauty,
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it better when it was more heart-oriented, that your heart showed your beauty,
Right.
and that people were judged by the way they acted and what they did and how they showed love for people, rather than just if they could go to a guy who could cut up their skin and make them look younger.
Yeah.
Although I'm not opposed to that if you want to do that. It's just, I think beauty is more than skin deep, and I believe we got that right a long time ago, and I'd like for us to keep that. There's some things that we should hold on to.
That reminds me of your book, too, that you sent and autographed, and I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
10 Golden Rules for Living in This Crazy Mixed-Up World.
Yeah.
You talk about how to be more beautiful in a not-so-pretty world, and you say things about, for pretty eyes, see through the pain and the conflicts to find the goodness in all people, look them straight in the eye, and you go on to, for a beautiful mouth, smile. And this little book is filled with really good advice on how to live your life, and I really like it. I really enjoyed reading through it.
Well, thank you, Mike. When I was diagnosed with MS in '78, I started just studying the spirit, mind, and body, and how a person could approach a problem,
Mm-hmm.
like illness, say. And because there really weren't any drugs then for MS, and except they experimented with a few every now and then. But the hospital I went to in Santa Barbara, they said, well, we could give you something, ACTH, which is some kind of hormone treatment, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't really think it works. I said, well, I don't want it if it doesn't work. Why would I, They said, okay, well, that's good. And they just observed me as I became more and more paralyzed in my body, and they just saw me through it, gave me a lot of tests, and scared me to death. But, after it was diagnosed and I really knew what it was, I thought, well, I've just got to regroup here, and I started with the spirit, and I realized I was surprised, actually, when I started studying the spirit, mind, and body. I came to the conclusion that you really should start with the spirit, with your own spirit, like what you believe and what you don't believe, and search your heart for that and try to reconnect with God. I believe God lives in our hearts, mm-hmm. and that it's a power source of love, really, and that, you start with the spirit, and then you think good thoughts, and you try to not give in to the negative thoughts. And it's not just negative, but not give in just to, I don't know, sometimes I just call it running from reality. And I don't think that's all bad sometimes, but you have to mix a certain amount of reality with it and face the music, kind of. But at the same time, you can't let it overcome you. You can't let it just be your driving force and the only part of your life. And I really enjoyed the study. I mean, I read every book I could on diet and nutrition, and I'm not a big exerciser, although I think I should be. And I think people should exercise probably, 20 minutes a day or 3 times a week at least, and I just stay active and hope that that's going to make up for what I don't do.
Yeah,
But
I think we're all kind of in the same
I
boat.
I really try to work on my diet, and I'm not perfect with that, but I did try to get my spirit straight and see what I thought I believed and what I didn't believe, and I had some really interesting just conclusions that I drew about life and stuff, and realized that you just can't do whatever unless you want to get whatever, you know?
Okay.
And I think that the Spirit needs to direct us, direct the body and the mind, and I checked my spirit with, we get our faith really from the Bible or from uplifting things that we read. And I just got back into the Bible and started reading, especially the New Testament, and tried to change my mind on a lot of things. And when people would tell me something was impossible, I would just say, no, it's not, And I know I'm trying to do the impossible with this record, Mike. I think it'd be such a kick if...
Well, you never know.
I know it. And you don't know if you don't try.
Absolutely.
So I just followed my heart with it and just prayed about it. And, I said, well, I need help here, and this is what I want to do and say. And I think, I don't know, it was amazing. It's kind of like when you connect yourself to your dream, it takes on an energy of its own or something. And I just stayed close to that energy. And when I went into the studio to record it, when I heard it back, I just couldn't believe how that they picked up, on the lyrics and the melody. I mean, it's simple, fairly simple, the melody and the lyrics. And I don't know, I was just so pleased with it, just so thankful, and I just felt so blessed.
I think you really point out the things that aren't going well here in the United States. I think we're all probably behind you on this. I kind of have a feeling it's going to do real well.
Thank you.
So
I do too. I hope you'll believe with me.
I do.
The Bible says, if any two of you agree on earth is touching anything, it shall be done. And it said, if one can put 1,000 to flight, 10 can put 10,000 to flight. Or something like that. You get the idea, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if I quoted that exactly right, but I just think life is really for living, and that we ought to honor it with our spirit, mind, and body.
And that's what we get as you get older. You realize that life is for living, and it gets a little bit shorter, and you realize you really got to do what you haven't done.
I know it.
So
and not waste it. I mean, Mike, I'm so against war. I can't tell you. I lost my brother to the Korean War and never got to know him because he was 18 and I was just a little girl.
Yeah.
And I just can't see that 2008 years after the death of Christ, how we can still be trying to cook up these wars,
Mm-hmm.
And all these video games. I mean, it gives us a war consciousness or something. And I guess part of it's because I'm a woman that I can't understand war so much. But I couldn't write that song without devoting that whole... I mean, there was a lot I could have said. I could have talked about border problems and all that, but it's just too hard to say and be artistic about it,
Yeah.
And it would have taken like another 10 verses to really cover everything that bothers everybody. So I just narrowed it down to the very basic. I mean, the least we should expect is that our food be safe, and that they don't waste our money, and that they hire Americans to do American jobs. Now, I think it should be safe and all for people to come to this country. And I love the Latinos and all of the immigrants who come here. And I think that's such a complicated issue, that it's not the same to keep out terrorists as it is to keep out people who are humble people who are just trying to live and make a living and send some money back, to their families and stuff. I mean, there ought to be laws that we follow that allow this process to evolve.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they're not handling it, just like they haven't handled a lot of these things for years and years and years. If we did as bad a job as some of them, we'd get fired.
Oh, yeah.
You know? I mean, why should it take 40 years to figure out this energy problem?
Yeah, this national deficit's up to like trillions of dollars now.
Oh, it's just awful.
And that's our credit card. That's our country credit card.
I know. And we're in debt to China.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about that, that is very scary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I just wanted to remind us in this song about who we really are, because I think we have sort of forgotten who we are, and that when we're down, we must rise, and that this is America, land we call our own. If we don't watch it, we could sure lose it.
I woke up from a dream when I heard a voice calling out, we can do better in America. We've forgotten who we are, and we're gonna lose our country if we don't fix what's wrong in America. Big shot CEOs have moved their jobs to other countries. Gas prices are killing us in America. But we still love our promised land, and we're gonna keep believing that we can do better in America. 'Cause we are Americans. When we're down, we must rise. We must come back to greatness, honor truth instead of lies. If we wanna lead the world again, we've got to lead ourselves, and we've just got to do better in America. If life is for living, why not peace instead of war? A house out of order doesn't work right anymore. An eye for an eye just leaves everybody blind. We can do better in America and better for mankind. This is America.
We have a responsibility, all of us do, I think, to really check ourselves for what we believe, and if we're doing the right thing with everybody, and what we can do, to help our country and to help everything go better.
I think you speak for a lot of Americans with what you're saying. So I have a feeling this song is going to do real well.
Well, I appreciate your vote of confidence.
Yeah.
It's just a kick when jocks will write me back and email me, and they just say such nice things.
Nice. Okay.
It's really sweet.
So you've got the fanfare coming up this coming week.
Yeah. And I'll sign autographs for 3 days. That's on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, starting at 2:00 each day. It's always good to see the people, and they, people just come back year after year from all over the country and other countries, and we remember them. I recognize them, and they show me pictures they made last year and the year before, or whatever. It's really nice. Yeah, it's the first week in June. Usually it's the second week, but this time they did it the first week.
Yeah, I'd love to be out there and see what that's all about. But I have never been to one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you'll just have to come sometime.
Yeah.
Spend a week down here or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not getting any younger. I should do that, shouldn't I?
Yeah. It's fun. It's just in a big building. All the artists have their booths, and they have live shows at different times. I don't know who's going to be there this year at different times, but it's a fun-filled week for people, or 3 days or 4 days, seems like. Let's see, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and they kind of wind it down on Sunday. But anyway, I really appreciate this with Cashbox, and Bruce has been so nice, and everybody I've talked to there has, and you especially.
Well, I really appreciate you sending your pictures and the book and all the nice autographs. It's been a real pleasure for me.
Well, thank you very much.
So I would love to talk to you again sometime. And
okay.
And you keep in touch, and we'll keep in touch with you.
Okay, Mike, and I'll let's see. I'll send you a picture of the Backwallen booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put out a newsletter too, and I'll put you on our mailing list.
Yeah. Make sure you're in the picture, too.
Okay.
Okay?
We will.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Well, you take care of yourself.
Okay. You too, Mike.
And have a good fanfare.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.